Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube. Today I'm going to be discussing Bitcoin fundamentals. If you haven't checked out my first video about my Bitcoin story, please check it out. But today is going to be about why is Bitcoin? Why do you need to know about Bitcoin? Why is it important? What is it? I get so many questions about what it is, and I really hope that I help you guys understand what it is. I try to put it in the most simplest form for everybody to understand, because I could talk about hours about what Bitcoin is, like I have with many people. But again, this is just a quick breakdown about what it is. I've kind of put something together so I can briefly show it to you guys. Again, before I start my video, look, I am not a financial advisor. And I am not giving financial advice. I just want to let you guys know I'm educating you on decisions you can make in your life and my experiences that I've done it. So at the end of the day, like I've said since day one, the risk is on you. All right, let me share my screen here. So first big question, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a store of value. It is labeled as the digital gold. So, guys, right now, there are so many people in the stock market, and I'm sure you've seen your 401ks and whatever investments, they've dramatically gone up. Well, there's always going to be a correction, kind of like what you're seeing today, right? In the stock markets and things like that. There's always going to be corrections. But then there's also like what you had in 2008, where not only where it was a correction, sort of a recession, but you also had a time where it was sort of a depression for a couple of years. And so, I'm not saying that we're going into a depression state, but it could be a possibility. And I won't go too much into the economics around it, but basically to kind of let you know, look, smart money, and what I mean by smart money is institutional money. They know that stock markets don't always go up. And at some point, there needs to be a correction. And people need to know, when people have made so much money, they need to figure out where to store it. And most individuals and institutions, I'm sorry, when I mean most individuals, I mean billionaires and institutions, they buy a lot of gold. They buy a lot of silver. And as of recently, they started buying a lot of Bitcoin. The reason is because it's a store of value. People want to be able to make sure that whatever they've made, it doesn't go down in value. So we'll talk a little bit more about economics. I do have some things on inflation, about some examples around it. But anyways, what Bitcoin is in the same class, I believe, with gold and silver as a store of value. Why does Bitcoin have value? What's so great about Bitcoin is basic economics, which is supply and demand. There's only 21 million of them. There's only 21 million of Bitcoins. And so, I was looking at the other day, right now from 2019, there's 46.8 millionaires worldwide. So trust me, there's still time, guys. There's still time. Not everybody's going to be able to get a whole Bitcoin. It's not going to happen. And I'm not here to tell you to buy a whole Bitcoin. A whole Bitcoin right now is $50,000. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. I believe, and I will tell you, and I'll tell you more about a little bit later, that this is going a lot higher than $50,000 within our lifetime. And owning a piece of it is essential. So anyway, so let me move on. But dollars are printed all the time, right? We don't even know how much money is circulating globally. But with Bitcoin, there is circulation. We know around where it's at on a daily basis, and where at a certain point where it ends. So it's when you start to see the price rise, it is basic supply and demand. When people are purchasing a lot of it, the price will go up. And so that's what you're seeing right now in the Bitcoin price. A lot of Elon Musk just came out. I'm sure you'll start to see larger companies. Recently, PayPal, Cash App, Mass Mutual, some other institutions have come in and companies have come in and started buying this up. So what is the market for something like this? Look, one of the best things I ever heard from someone was, asking the younger generation about what to invest in. And, a lot of it that you'll probably hear is around the internet or technology or something online, I will say. And, nothing against gold. I do. Gold has been here for 100 years, and it will continue to be a great store of value for all of us. But I do think that Bitcoin will compete with it. I do. And I think it goes back to the simple question of, if you ask your kids today what they would rather invest in, gold or Bitcoin, I would only assume that they would probably invest in Bitcoin and that they've probably heard of it, depending on this listening group here. So what does that mean from a market value standpoint? So right now, gold is $12 trillion market cap. Bitcoin is a little below 1 trillion. Thus why you're seeing a lot of price volatility. It's trying to find its price. It's like from a 12 trillion into 1 trillion, that's almost like a penny stock, right? You see a lot of volatility in penny stocks under $25. Well, from this high scheme of things, that's kind of what Bitcoin is right now from a global perspective. And so, if we were to get to a $12 trillion market cap and get to where gold is right now, which I believe at some point it will, then that's about 30 times the price of what it is today. There are actually some people who have believed that it could be its own monetary system, which is $1 trillion. And so that would be a lot of money for one Bitcoin for sure. So, what is the market? The market is a huge market opportunity. I think anything with money, is always going to have a huge market. We're not talking about a product here. It is money. So do I need a full Bitcoin? No, you can actually buy $10 worth if you want. These things are called Satoshis, called sats. So in one whole Bitcoin, there are 100 million Satoshis, kind of like the dollar and the coin. So basically, right now we have the dollar, and you can have 100 pennies to equal $1, or 4 quarters to equal $1. So in one whole Bitcoin, there are 100 million Satoshis, and so they're broken out. So that's why you're able to get $10 worth or $20 worth, $300 worth, whatever it is. And again, I think that's one of the biggest myths out there, is that you have to go out and buy a $50,000 whole Bitcoin, which is not the case. You can buy $10 or $20 worth, over a period of time. So who is the CEO of Bitcoin? No one. There's no central leader. The CEOs are the people. It's a fully decentralized system. And this is what's awesome about it. It's pretty much very similar like the internet. Think about it. There's nobody who controls the internet. Now, there are governments who try to control it. I'm sorry. Nobody owns the internet. Nobody owns the internet. There are governments around the world who try to control it, but nobody owns it. And so, that's what Bitcoin is. There's no central leader. And this is something very new to us. This is something that's come from within the people, within the value. Every company has a CEO, a head leader. And honestly, that's why gold's very valuable as well. A lot of people consider it, God's money, because it came from the earth. Well, think of Bitcoin of like the people's money, because it came within the people and we created its own value. So there's not some CEO out there that's preaching to go get their product of Bitcoin. That's not what it is. There's no CEO. So, who created Bitcoin? So, on the internet, there's this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, which goes back to, the 100 million Satoshis, sats, that's what they call them. Nobody knows if this is a man or a woman, or if this is just a random name out there that somebody created it. But he did create a white paper. He did create a declaration page for Bitcoin. And the bottom line is nobody knows who he's at, and he could be dead for all we know. You know, who is the creator? A guy we have no bite about, but that is the known name for what this asset is. How do I buy Bitcoin? So you can buy Bitcoin either on Coinbase, which have U.S. residents, or BlockFi, which has U.S. residents and international individuals. I will drop the links below. Basically, if you can use my links, then I'll get like a couple dollars worth of Bitcoin, and you'll get a couple dollars of Bitcoin. So it's a win-win, and it'll also help this channel. So please use my links below. I will come out with a tutorial probably in about a week or two how to use it. But if you want to get ahead of the game, check out the links below, sign in, and they're pretty simple processes to wire transfer. They'll ask for your ID and government photo or passport and all that kind of stuff. So just be ready for that. You know, it's kind of like it's an exchange online. So, you know how you go to a bank and you have dollars and you would convert it to a peso. Well, it's the same thing. You're going to be pretty much converting dollars to Bitcoin. So, you know, that's how you would purchase it. Let's see here. All right. Why do assets like Bitcoin and gold go up, and why it's a little scary for people who are not educated in this space? So, you know, so going back to the whole inflation thing. So we are currently in an inflationary system. So basically, we are in a legacy financial system. We are in a fiat-based system where we rely on the dollar. So basically, fiat is a dollar. So, and basically, what I'm trying to get at is the dollar continues to inflate, roughly about 2% every year. And you know, all it means is that it's not backed by a commodity. However, it once was. It was backed by gold through 1971, and then we decided not to continue it as a gold based fiat. So you know, so this is very important to know, right? So you know, when you talk to your financial advisor and he talks about, you know, oh, there's going to be, you gotta plan for 2% inflationary and those things. What he's pretty much saying is, or he or she, is the dollar will continue to go down over your time. Well, what if the dollar went 5% down? You know, that's probably where the concerning part is that why do you contribute, you know, 6 or 7% to your 401k, but then having to, you know, make up for this inflationary 2 to 3, 5% over time. It's like you're putting so much money in a system, but then it's just, you know, sort of inflating over time. And so, anyways, best example I can give you is milk. So, you know, in the 80s, early 90s, milk was maybe like 50 cents, 95 cents, maybe at most. If you bought milk recently, a little gallon or two, you're probably going to spend $3 or $4, if not more. Well, why is that? Why is that? What does that mean? It simply means that there are more dollars that are out in the market now that have been printed. And so so you need more dollars to buy something because there is more dollars that are out there. And so this is very important to know. And this is also a very scary thing for people who are not educated in this space. So right now, when I talk about smart money and institutions and billionaires, they know that the market can't always go up, that there will be a correction. There will be something like it was in 2008. And I'm not trying to freak you guys out. I'm just trying to educate you guys that this is when you start to see those gold signs. Oh, buy gold. You know, if you guys haven't seen that in the past year or starting to see that this year, and you probably saw that a lot in 2008, is because we could be going to a recession, if not a depression, right? And so, you know, the ones who are educated about money will understand this, and the ones who are not will continue to have to work up for what they've made, right? You know, to then continue to try to catch up in the next couple of years to meet where it's at if we continue to go and have a market correction. And so, what does all this mean? So the individuals are looking for, to 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 sustain their value. In 2008, when the market crashed, all the stocks and equities and everything went down. Well, guess what? Guess what went up? Gold. Gold went up 200% while everything else went down. And so it is a hedge against the dollar for sure. And so what I mean is the scary part is that when we do start to see these institutions start converting some of their cash into gold or into Bitcoin, it does mean that there will possibly be some big event. And I don't wish on any big event to occur. The event could be a war. The event could be financial market collapse of some sort. It could be a housing bubble, like it was as well, where there was housing crash, 12, 13, 14 years ago, 2008. And then there was like, the, uh, you had the banks also go down. That could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, but it could happen. And so one of the things we have to be worried about is it's not just because Bitcoin just goes up and everybody's making all this money in gold. It's because something dramatically is probably blowing up for something to happen. And so, this is why I'm here to educate you guys on what those things are. As I've started to learn economics myself, and why big money and smart money are doing what they're doing. So anyway, so what causes things to inflate? So when you have a central system that prints money for bank and auto bailouts, wars, stimulus checks. So let me be very clear about this. This is not a political issue. Let me tell you why. The biggest spenders have both been from Republicans and Democrats. So, I try to help people understand that, um, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I believe money controls a lot of how people think, and I don't want to go too much into politics, but uh, I think you have to see beyond the left and the right. You have to understand the bigger picture. I do believe that people are just puppets to to these bigger things that are out there, and people just need to be educated on not what's just happening in the U.S., but what's happening globally. And anyway, and in hindsight, why do things inflate? Because of those type of things. Um, so why are global economics important to know? So when you look at other countries like Colombia and Venezuela, their money got so devalued that they ended up trying to get into safe haven like gold. The people in these countries are actually big Bitcoiners. So it's tough for us because everybody depends on the U.S. dollar as a Federal Reserve global currency. I mean, well, yeah, I mean, right now, if you look at the dollar, we're about 90 cents to the dollar. So um, you know, I don't know if like in Colombia and Venezuela, where their money just went so devalued that they had to go to safe havens like gold. But now they're starting to adopt Bitcoin. And so, not saying that the dollar is just going to collapse. That's not going to happen. The dollar is um, so involved globally that if the dollar collapsed, then it would be a global crash, which I don't think that's going to happen. But it is important to understand that our dollar is going down because of what's happening in the economy. So anyway, so that's just an example. All right. So what are the rich doing now? So they are buying up gold, silver, and buying Bitcoin. This is because they know the dollar is going down and are not saving money, thus allowing them to have a large purchasing power at a later time. So I will say that right now is not a good time to. I think there are a lot of people that are saving money, saving the dollar. Well, the only problem with saving the dollar, and I mean, what I mean by saving a dollar is like your majority of your assets is while the dollar is deflating, you actually want to put it in you do want to put it in some sort of safe haven, right? Or at least have a certain portfolio of it, whether that be real estate, or whether that be Bitcoin or gold or silver, land, water, whatever that is. You do want it, because the game is all about, the rich know the game is all about purchasing power. You know, when you have a dollar going down, and you know that if you hold the dollar, then you are literally losing your purchasing power. So let me give you the best example. Sorry, I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but if you were to have $10,000 in a savings account right now, well, you're earning, 0.000001%, right? Maybe like a penny a year, something like that, a couple dollars, I don't know. Well, the more that you continue to save that in the savings account, the more your money is actually going down, because there's being more money printed in to our economy. And so you're going to need more money to actually pay for that milk. So maybe that milk goes from $3 to $5 to $7. So I do believe that it would be smart to diversify it if you have some money saved into something. And whether you put it in Bitcoin or not, or decide to put it in the stocks or whatever you want to do, I do think that investing it into something you believe in would be a lot better than just saving it. They're even talking about, federal interest rates, and not, I don't mean like mortgage interest rates. I mean like bond and yield rates possibly going negative. So can you imagine keeping money in your savings account and actually losing a couple of dollars, by just having it with the bank? It's a possibility, guys, but I'm just trying to educate you. But anyway, so all right, let's move along. Can I be taxed on Bitcoin? Yes, the IRS labels it as property. Yes, if you sell it, there is a short-term and a long-term capital gain, just like stocks and real estate. So, it is important that you understand that it is taxed. It's not like, you can get away with it and put all your money in it and not get taxed. It is taxed. IRS is labeling it as a property. And that's pretty important, guys. I do, with the IRS labeling it as a property, I think that we are on its first leg to really, hopefully getting to a point where if you were to go to a bank or something, then if you say, hey, I don't want to sell my Bitcoin, but I have a Bitcoin, then they'll be like, okay, well, you can borrow against it. You can borrow collateral against it. I don't think that we're there yet, but I do believe that it is a start of where we're headed. All right, how do I buy Bitcoin? Oh, I already think I had that one, which is Coinbase and BlockFi, guys. I will be putting that in the comment section in YouTube. Please visit those links of where to buy it. That's where I buy all my Bitcoin. So why are you so passionate about telling me about Bitcoin? Here's the thing, because no one ever taught me how to make money. I've learned myself. I'm not a millionaire or anything yet, but I am on the path to be. One of the things that I learned is, I want people to come with me along the way. I don't want one of these things where it's like, hey guys, I'm a millionaire, and now I'm going to teach you how to be it. Like, no, like I want to teach people like you to come along with me along this ride, because it'll be funner that way. We can all enjoy it. If I'm the only one enjoying it at the party, then that's not going to be fun, right? And so, I'm just a big believer on just kind of having us all get there. And that's why I'm making these videos to help along the way. It's because I want us to get there, all together. And I do having Bitcoin as a part of this portfolio will help you get there. All right, big question is, so should I buy now? So as I said before, Bitcoin's around $50,000. Don't need a whole Bitcoin. You can put $10, $20, $300 in, whatever you believe. But at the end of the day, long-term thinking, where do I think this can go? Well, in 15 years, I do believe that one Bitcoin will be $1 million. So that would mean that zero 0.1 of a Bitcoin would be $100,000. In 30 years, I think it could be $10 million. That would mean zero 0.1 of a Bitcoin, um, you know, uh, would be $1 million. So zero 0.1 right now would be $5,000. And if you hold it, you're looking at either 100,000 or $1 million. There's not going to be any other asset that's going to probably give you that, uh, you know, and and let me be very clear. There's the money side of it, right? Which is the 100,000, the $1 million or whatever it may be. But what people don't understand is also the value behind it. You know, a lot of people are looking at the price. The value behind it is there will be some people that will never own a whole Bitcoin. Like I said, like I showed you before, there's 47 million millionaires. There's only 21 million that are going to ever be created. So people are going to fight. People are going to want, people are going to break you. I mean, there's going to be some people that are going to be selling at 100,000 or a million or whatever it may be, and people will buy them, right? As the market continues to grow. But if you hold on to it and keep it, the value of it will only grow, And if you can borrow against it at some point, that could be a life generational wealth opportunity to pass on even to your kids or leave a long legacy, because this will continue to grow. So my personal beliefs, my personal beliefs are, dollar bills and coins will go away. I think the dollar that we hold today in our wallet and the coins that we carry in our change bag, all that will go away. You'll see some sort of digital money per se, but it'll still be based on the same fiat monetary system, which is inflationary. So that's where I think we're going. So if the dollar and the bills and the coins are going away and everything will be digital, then there has to be a digital gold as well. And I believe that's going to be Bitcoin. Bitcoin and the internet are very similar. So think about it like this. Somebody told you 30 years ago, hey, there's this thing called the internet. I don't quite understand it, but I think it's going to be a big deal. Well, this is that time with Bitcoin. Same thing. Not a lot of people understand it, but in 15, 30 years, it will do great, extraordinary things from a monetary system thing. Internet helped us with so many things. I mean, you name it. I mean, we're on this, Zoom thing right now, and where this is headed. But the monetary system hasn't changed at all. I do believe that there will be a situation where we won't have banks. Everything will be online, and everything will be different. I do think that I don't think we're headed there anytime soon, but I do think eventually within our lifetime. And so when we think about the digital age, think about Bitcoin being very similar like the internet. So basically, ask yourself this: if somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, if you want to, invest in the internet, would you have done it 30 years ago?" And if you didn't, this would be one of those opportunities to do it. And I do personally believe that Bitcoin is like the internet of money. All right. Also, I believe Bitcoin will be labeled as a global commodity very soon, like water, land, and gold, where you can collateralize it, which I think is big. Look, guys, global commodities are a big thing. They're very rare, right? So when we talk about water or land or gold or real estate, it's because you can't produce more land, right? You can't produce more water. These things have to be kind of within the heavens, like whatever is given here on earth or whatever comes from above to us, water and things. And Bitcoin is really the only thing that's out there that has a set limit on how many you can purchase. which I think will be a huge commodity within our lifetime. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys very much. I did want to give you guys a sneak peek about what I'm going to talk about in our next conversation, which will be about technical analysis. So basically, Bitcoin runs on a 4-year bull run, historical corrections. I'll give you a 2008 example, why this is important, Bitcoin habit events, and the volatility of Bitcoin. But thank you so much, guys. Please hit that like, comment. I want other people to know about it. Look, that's the only way this video is going to sort of be out there. Share it. Again, I could talk about Bitcoin for hours, but again, do your own research. But this is really the easiest way that I can kind of share with you guys my experience about what it is and where I think it's going. So thank you guys very much, and I will talk to you soon.